What's up, guys? Welcome to Trainer Talk, episode 11 with Grant and Colin. Today, we have two guests on for the first time in the history of Trainer Talk, two additional guests. We have Matt Moore and Paden Hodges, the two, I guess, owner and co-owner of Elevate, or I could be wrong about that, but they basically run a community, faith, fitness, and kind of everything in between called Elevate, and we're very excited to have them on today. Matt and Paden, how are you guys doing?
Doing fantastic, bro. Happy to be here.
Nice.
Blessed, man. Appreciate you having us on.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Cool, dude. So yeah, maybe we can just kind of kick it off, and you guys can just kind of tell us a little bit about Elevate, like what it is, and yeah, just kind of give the people a little bit more context.
Yeah, I guess I'll take that question. But I think best way to tell what it is just tell why I started it. And I actually grew up with Colin over here, so he can, understand and really have that background of my life growing up. But basically, 2020 was senior year of high school for Colin and I in our small town, hometown in Indiana. And I graduated high school at 17 and, thought college baseball was going to be the path. COVID and God had other plans for that. And I knew that, the 9 to 5 rat race was not for me. Having a life that was 40 pounds overweight with a 50% divorce rate that really just, leaves you castrated from everything this life has to offer, I feel like. And so I set out to go against that grain, go against the traditional path, and quickly found that path is lonely if you're not heading down the traditional route of going to college or going to getting a job and doing whatever else. So heading into entrepreneurship, found that path was lonely. Building my body, building a business, eventually finding God and building my faith. Like there's not many guys on that same path, but I started to network with similar like-minded guys on Twitter. And what started out as a group chat with the homies who were pursuing personal excellence has now grown into a community of 150 dudes where we, like you guys have both attended, host events all over the country. So it's been wild to see how God has worked. But yeah, I guess long story short, just a community of dudes who are looking to pursue personal excellence and carry their cross, man.
Hell yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah, and it's really cool. I didn't realize it was up to 150 now.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
Yes, I had to turn off notifications for it. God, constantly kept checking my phone. Bro.
Yeah,
for certain hours you guys are on, but whenever I'm trying to get some work done, I kind of hard to when every 5 seconds there's something new happening.
Yeah,
100%.
So with that, what made you decide to help him out, Peyton? Like you to become the co-owner, COO, whatever. What made you decide to take that path from going from taking that college route to dropping out to you're now a part of it?
Yeah, so I went to college originally just because it was essentially the easiest path. My parents wanted me to do it, and I had basically free tuition because my dad was in the military. But inside of me, I had this passion to, similar to Matt, go against the grain and take the non-traditional route of entrepreneurship. But I just didn't know what that mechanism was. I didn't know how to go about it. And so this is kind of how I met Matt. I was on social media, on Twitter particularly, just searching for people who had taken that path. And Matt, he was my age and, he was pursuing the entrepreneur route, traveling, just living the life that I wanted to. So I reached out to him and I was like, dude, how do you achieve this essentially? And so we got on a couple calls from there. I ended up joining Elevate as a regular member. And then, throughout all of 2022, mine and Matt's relationship really grew. And come January 1st of 2023, last year, I had expressed to Matt already that I really didn't want to be in college. I was passionate about entrepreneurship, that I was just seeking something more out of this life. And, he pitched me on the opportunity. He was like, dude, I know you're going to work hard. I know you're passionate about this. He was like, if you go all in, if you drop out of college and go all in on this opportunity, then you got an opportunity as business partner here. I was like, dude, I'm in. So, I had the passion already, but I just didn't have the mechanism. And then Matt provided me with the mechanism to do that. And so here we are. I jumped straight in the deep end.
That's awesome. That's really cool. And also, because I think I messed this up earlier too at the beginning of the podcast. It's like, Matt, you're the owner, and then Paden, you're COO. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Co-owners now.
Co-owners. Okay, gotcha. Okay, so I was right actually at the beginning.
For sure.
Heck yeah, bro.
Nice. Well, that's really cool. And then kind of the next question I have for you guys on that one is like, I guess maybe from a business perspective, like what does kind of a typical day look like in running Elevate for you guys? And then also like on a similar note, like maybe from a consumer standpoint, I guess you could call us like consumers, from like a member standpoint, right? Like what does a member kind of get when they join Elevate?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'd love for you guys to answer that question.
I'm happy to answer the second one, but the business one, I guess, is more for you guys.
Yeah, I'll start there with I guess day in the life over here. I'm more so the face of Elevate, doing the branding, doing the whole social media thing, making a lot of connections, building a lot of relationships, jumping on podcasts like this, recording content of my own. So that's primarily what I do. I guess what it looks like in the day to day can be different. I mean, you guys get it. Like when you're in entrepreneurship, you never know what's coming up. You never know what fire you're gonna have to put out or how you're just gonna have to pivot. Obviously, this thing moves so fast too. So, yeah, I'd say building relationships and spreading the mission is primarily what I do. Peyton's got a whole different role within this, so let him speak to that.
Sure.
Yeah, so as an operator, I essentially just make the thing run. Some days it's building systems, other days it's planning events, other days it's managing. Some days it's a mix of all three of those. So I essentially just make the thing go. I operate the business.
That's awesome. And then I guess Colin, maybe you and I can talk about like kind of our experiences with it, if that's cool to you.
I'm good. I think I have the longest experience in it now.
Yeah, maybe you can start that.
Heck yeah.
So day one was what, 2022 or January 11th, because January 1st it like glitched out. Everyone couldn't get in or something. I remember that. I remember that because Matt, you called me because I was at my grandparents and you asked if I could get in, and I had no access. You couldn't see anything. It was just a blank page. And then not until like I think a week or so later is when you finally could get in and like actually introduce yourself and have it be a community. But from that point, from that day one point, it was mainly it was Matt and Joey at that time, and it was really a lot of just the 3, 4, 5 people in there at a time. It was just us. That's when we started building the connections. We started getting to know each other. We started understanding who is who and what each person does with their life and how they contribute to some part of faith, fitness, or relationships. And from there, it just gradually grew until eventually then you joined Paden, and it really took that big swing from it was really a lot of fitness was the main motivator, to now it's a very big faith. Jesus is huge in there, and it's made a big jump, and it's been significantly better ever since that point.
Nice. Yeah, I kind of echo that sentiment of like the kind of faith element of it has grown big time over the years. So I think I first joined, it was like June of 2022. I think I first reached out to Matt on Twitter when I was starting my fitness business, because he was already like very established in that space. I don't think, Matt, I don't know if you're doing any fitness coaching anymore, but like at the time I know you were doing a lot of that. And I originally joined for a few reasons, I would say, but like one of the biggest ones was like there were a lot of other like coaches, entrepreneurs in there, and a lot of people who are like kind of looking to grow their business. And there was like, oh, like we have kind of like an engagement group type of thing going here. like, like you can kind of like share retweets and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, this is cool. And I was like, I consider myself Christian. I was like, yeah, like I'm Christian. Like, I can get behind this part of it too. But I was never really like, I wasn't going to church consistently. I wasn't like reading the Bible. I wasn't really doing like any of those actions, right? And like over time, like I think as kind of the community has shifted more towards like a heavier faith emphasis, like I've actually gotten a lot more into it myself. I've been going to church more consistently. I've been reading the Bible every day, like praying every day, all those things. And it really, I'm like really thankful and happy that it kind of went that route and it took that change. The other thing that I've enjoyed a lot out of the community has been some of the events. Like I've been to, I think 3 total now. And it's very cool because I think in today's world, like obviously it's very easy to meet and connect with people online. And like you can get on a Zoom call with somebody, can get on a phone call with somebody and say what's up. But it's a lot different when you can kind of like meet somebody face to face, shake their hand, put a face to the name. So I'm a big fan of the events as well. But yeah, overall great experience to this point.
Man, appreciate you, bro. It's been incredible watching. I mean, both of your guys' growth, but I feel like Grant, you coming to faith especially has been really cool to see. I know Utah seemed like a breakout event for you, dude.
I loved it. Yeah, dude, the Utah event was great. And I think, I mean, honestly, I would say like all the events, but definitely the Utah one especially. Plus the snowboarding. I mean, you can't beat that. That was a lot.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
I'm surprised neither of you talked about the challenges. There's 2 huge competitors here.
It was going to be talked about. It's just happened.
Oh, okay. I
We were
guess.
trying to we were trying to get the base built on what you guys were trying to do before we deep dove into it.
Got it. Cool.
Colin, do you want to talk about the challenge?
Guess we'll get into the
yeah. So like the
challenges.
challenges, like for people who don't know, I think it's like every week or every 2 weeks, you guys launch like a new challenge. Is that correct?
Basically
every week or two. So like it's anything from like doing a Murph, anything from doing like a 1 mile sprint as fast as you can, like a dead hang for as long as you can, all sorts of different things. Some of them are like not physical as well. Sometimes it's like, okay, like reading the Bible more frequently. I think there was one we did in the fall where it was like reading like 1 chapter of the Bible and then doing a cold shower and then like one other thing, like some push-ups or something every day.
Yeah, so it was integrated between faith and fitness.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's usually like kind of, sometimes it's like a hybrid of both. But like sometimes it's one or sometimes the other. But yeah, the challenges are really cool. I was bummed I couldn't put up a better time on the 1 mile challenge, but next time we do that, like I think we'll hit that sub 6. So knock on wood. But it's close. I'm like 6:01 right now. So
when is that? When is that next timed mile time then?
It's coming up, man. Y'all better be ready.
Whenever Grant's bulking, that's what I'm saving for.
After my 100, after I'm starting to get into the bulk season, the day after my 100 miler, and I'm like,
yeah, there we go. Same week,
right.
June 9th. Yeah,
kick him while he's down.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we got even out this playing field a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
that's funny. Cool. I guess like the next question we have is, if you were somebody who, like, say, like maybe you're a little on the fence about either joining Elevate or like getting more into your faith, and you're kind of like unsure about like where to go or what to do, like what would like be, I guess, maybe one piece of advice you'd give somebody in that situation?
all right, I'll take it.
Go for it.
Oh man, I was trying to give that guy some space to speak, but yeah, I think I mean, from a just logical perspective, we do have a 30-day money back guarantee. So if you like, just from that perspective, like if you join in 30 days, you don't enjoy it, we'll just send you your money back. It's not like $30 is something we're trying to hold on to. But from a more subjective perspective, I guess, I would just say come as you are. We say that a lot around our Bible studies and different things inside of Elevate. And I think if you join and truly just authentically come as you are, as yourself, you will be met with 100+ dudes who are genuine in every sense of the word, that are gonna get, vulnerable around their struggles and just be real with you around the growth that they want to have in their life. So that would be my advice. Just come as you are, come see what we're about. If it's not for you, cool. Take your money back and wish you the best.
Sure.
For sure. I definitely reciprocate that. And then also it's so unique because you're just coming into a community of 100+ men who will literally take you as you are, and whoever you introduce yourself as. That's what, when I joined as a regular member in 2022, March of 2022, I was so excited to join because these are people that I've never met and they know nothing about me. And I can come in as a brand new person, and who I want to be moving forward. And so I think that's a big proponent. And what I hear from a lot of guys when they first join is they just really enjoy introducing themselves as this new person, whether that be in Christ or just who they want to be moving forward. And I think that's a massive value from Elevate that is underlooked often.
For sure.
Yeah. I'll double down on that point real quick, because I think the easiest way to change your identity is to change your environment. And not all the time can we change our physical environment. I know I can speak for Colin and I. We both grew up in the same small town. Like, it's tough when you're trying to break free from an old identity, when you're stuck in your same environment. Like, it's just hard when you have the same people around you who know you for who you've been and what you've done. It's hard to become someone different. It takes a lot more of a mountain to climb, but is it possible? Yes, absolutely. But it's made a lot easier when you can surround yourself with people who are on that same path, looking for the same things out of life. And so, like what Paden's saying, I feel like that's why so many guys enjoy it. It's because, like, man, I don't have to come in here with a past version of myself, of who I once was, and introduce myself as that. I can introduce myself as this man that I'm trying to become. And, we're all on board with that. We don't care who you are, where you came from. Like, sure, if you're on the train of getting better and pursuing personal excellence, like, we'll take you. So I know you guys could probably all speak to that.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah. I think, echoing obviously everything you said, like, kind of come as you are. I totally agree with that. I think one other thing that's cool, specifically if you're like a business owner, an entrepreneur, or even somebody who's just kind of like dabbling in it, like, there's a lot of people in the community who are in that space as well. So, like, in addition to obviously like the faith and the fitness aspects of it, like, there's that whole other dimension of it too. If you're interested in learning more about that, that's a cool thing as well.
Yeah. I think to add to that, Grant, like, look at Paden and myself, like, forming our partnership that we did, like, because he just joined as a member. Yeah. Next thing you know, I'm networking with members. Here we go. I got a business partner. Look at you guys. You guys are networking as members.
Literally,
here we are now co-hosting a podcast. Like,
right. Yeah, exactly.
The stories go on, just how people
Sure.
have formed partnerships and things like that. And I know there's so much more to come with how God's going to work. But when you meet people who are on the same page and equally yoked, like, fruits like this are just inevitable.
For sure.
Yep.
For sure. I'm with that.
So this next one, it can be tailored to more both of you. Obviously, it's going to be so starting out, what was the biggest challenge? So for Matt, day one when you decided to start it, compared to Paden, you joining, you deciding to take that leap, and what was your biggest challenge starting out with either side of it?
Matt, you can go first.
Yeah. I would say it's similar to starting anything out. Like, you're not seeing the growth of the results you want in the beginning, and it's something where with Elevate, like, trying to cultivate an online community, like, long distance internet relationships are the hardest relationships to build. That's why, like intimate relationships don't work 99% of the time when they're long distance. And it's like, I set out with a business model solely based on building, relationships over the internet and long distance. So I think in the beginning, like, it's not like you're meeting people in person or having other members meet each other in person. So it took time to really build a foundation. And it took, showing up on calls every single day, even if I didn't want to be on the Bible study of their call or whatever it was. Like, it just took such a grind and such a consistency of having to show up, lead every single call, and facilitate every single connection, because it's not like, we're going to meet at a coffee shop and then some guys are going to exchange numbers and hang out afterwards and build their own relationship. It's like, no, I literally have to facilitate all of that. So just constantly facilitating those connections and leading everything was definitely taxing in the beginning, but now, you guys see it. I could miss every single call for the next 6 months, and I think this thing would fire probably better than if I was on them. So, we have amazing leaders in place who, are dedicated and just willing to volunteer time and energy and their expertise to leading calls and stuff. So that's been a huge, huge blessing, overcoming that initial obstacle.
For me, joining the business side of things after a year in, exactly a year in, one of the biggest challenges was coming into a business that was already, started, trying to gain an understanding of how it was running currently. And then while simultaneously like figuring out how to run a business in general, and then, discussing with Matt what we're going to do moving forward. It was difficult. It was definitely a unique scenario, especially because Matt was, still fairly new to business when you consider it in the long term of things. And so, with those challenges, like the biggest thing we had to do was just very clear communication, tons of meetings, almost daily. We talked, especially since, we were hundreds of miles apart. That's what it took. So for anybody, coming into a business that was already built, clear communication is key. And then whether this be the founder or the person coming in, just patience, a lot of patience. I know Matt was very patient with me in the beginning. He still is today. But it just takes very great communication and patience. That's what I would have to say.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. And I guess like the next kind of thing we have for you, kind of on that end, with like, I think you talked about it a bit just now, but like over the course of like, I guess taking Elevate from the beginning, very beginning, ground zero to where it is now, like what do you think is the biggest things? What are the biggest things that each of you have learned? I guess Matt since the beginning, and then Paden since you joined.
Yeah. Honestly, biggest thing I would say I learned is that God is real. As wild as that may seem for somebody listening, but like building something like this, there's no way I did this. Like, that's just point blank. There's no way this was me. Just even being on this podcast right now with you guys, everybody that's a part of this community, like 150 guys, all have different backgrounds, all have different backstories, all have different intricate ways as to how they found out about Elevator, different stories as to why they pressed the join button and jumped in on this thing. And every single guy is just absolutely phenomenal human being. Like, I genuinely don't think you will meet a group of dudes who are better than the members we got and the group of guys that we got. And it's just like, there's no way I put that together. So that's just first lesson there, man. It's just, God is real. It just became, I can't keep calling these coincidences time and time again. So yeah.
Absolutely. And then Matt, sorry, we can jump to Paden in a second, but one thing I kind of want to ask just as a follow-up to that, like, would you say that over the course of you building Elevate to what it is, like your own personal faith has grown like significantly during that time as well?
Oh yeah, dude. Before I started to Elevate, and I guess all three of you guys joined in 2022, Colin being a day oneer, as you heard, it was totally circled on fitness. Like, there's no doubt about it. And heading into 2023, that's when Bo, shout out Bo. You guys all know Bo, but for those listening, Bo's a member, also a day one guy. And literally the first call I got on with him back in 2022, he was like, man, my mission is to lead people to God. I'm like, sweet. Turns out about a year later, he's leading Friday Bible study, still leads it to this day. And so that was really the catalyst that brought faith into Elevate, was Bo saying, hey, I think we should start a Bible study in this community. And so I would say up until that point, I was very lukewarm in my faith. I knew God was real. But once it became real inside the community that I was running and leading, I had to step up as a leader and go first. So at one point, 2023, early 2023, not only did I have Elevate Bible Study on my calendar, I think I had 7 others as well in a week on my calendar. So, man, I dove in head first because of leadership of guys in Elevate, specifically Bo, and then, Austin, Matt, like other guys, you guys, like just guys in their faith in Elevate are the reason that I grew mine. So, absolutely, dude. It's been everything.
That's awesome. And then I guess going back over to Paden too, like what do you think is the biggest thing that you've learned, Paden, since joining Man?
Yeah, I got to take the faith route as well. Just dependence on God, even like from the very beginning, the decision to go all in on entrepreneurship, the decision to join Elevate on the business side, join Matt. From that point on, like I started relying on God more than ever, and really haven't stopped. So my faith has grown eminently, and I would also say just including him in the decisions. And when you feel the call from God to do something in your business, even if it doesn't make sense, take that call. Matt touched on it a little bit, but going into 2023, we did have that Bible study, but still at the time we were very fitness focused. We had a fitness and training offer inside of Elevate, and it was providing a lot of the income for us. But we felt this call from God to go all in on faith, to go all in on the community itself. And despite it not making sense financially, we still took that leap. We still answered that call from God, and it's paid off greatly.
Awesome.
So coming up, what big plans do you guys have for this community?
Kilimanjaro.
Whoa! Hiking one of the mountains, baby.
Yeah.
Right, you even got your passport yet?
No, I don't have it yet.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get it soon. No, I got an appointment set up. So, but that was actually funny. I got a DM from a guy, and he was like, "Hey, like, see you guys do these events. Like, would you guys be interested in like Kilimanjaro or Everest or something?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, we would." So we'll see when that is. Probably a year or 2 out, but definitely on the docket. But plans, man, just continue to bring people together first and foremost. Like this is a vision and a mission that's going to empower millions to carry their cross and ultimately walk with God. So that is the big overarching plan, is to continue to bring people together. I think in the short term of like business plans, I guess we want to continue to create intimacy within Elevate, even in spite of growth. It's tough to build intimate relationships when you have a community of hundreds of guys. So we're going to continue to, like the church model, I guess, create small groups, groups within the groups, to maintain that intimacy, such as fatherhood, entrepreneurship. Grant, you've touched on, the entrepreneurs inside the community. So we want to continue connecting to those guys, empowering those guys, and creating opportunities for them. So big focus, maintaining intimacy. And then, another huge focus is more in-person events. Like we want the House of Steel. This will be 3rd annual year for the House of Steel. You guys were at the first and the second one, so this is going to be the 3rd one.
Be there again.
We want, heck yeah, bro. We want that to be an event, where hundreds, if not thousands of guys are coming. So just massive events, continuing to double down. Like Grant had mentioned earlier, it's a whole different story when you give somebody a hug and tell them you love them or go through something hard with them. That's really what builds community and builds relationships. So we know that we got to double down on that.
For sure. Love the small groups coming, love the events that we're going to continue to build and scale. Another one that I'll add is we have a feature coming in the next few months. It's gonna take the in-person community game to the next level. Not gonna drop too much info yet, but it's gonna be a
Oh,
game
come
changer for
on.
us.
Come on, let's hear
Yeah,
something.
nothing,
just-
man, nothing.
Dude, you're dipping your toes in the water. You might as well stick your foot in now.
Ah,
Let something loose. Let's hear it. Come on.
Yeah,
It's
I can't release it on the podcast, man.
this won't be posted for like 3 months anyways. Come on. Let something loose. We'll
I don't
stop
know,
recording.
man.
We'll stop recording and you
we'll
can say
respect his
it.
right to privacy here.
Yeah.
He has the right to remain silent. Anything
That's
he does.
right.
Yeah. You this is not the plead the fifth scenario, Peyton. Come on. Let it loose.
It'll we'll see. We'll see in the future, man.
Um,
Hey, we created a Strava group. There's that.
yes, that's we love that.
Yeah. Neck and neck with Grant this week too. Come on.
Oh.
Oh.
How many miles are you gonna end the week at, Peyton, do you think?
Where I'm at right now. I'm not running anymore. It's funny because you're 2 miles more than me, but I've got more time than you running. So it
Oh,
just proves that I'm way slower than you.
okay. It's
But
okay.
we
Yeah,
don't have
I
to
mean,
go there.
It
I'm gonna
sounds
finish
like you're putting in more hours working on it than he is.
Let me see. We're gonna.
For sure.
I'm probably gonna finish this week at. I'm pulling it up on my phone right now. I'll
One
probably finish this
thing,
week at. I don't know how many minutes.
one thing we can't not cover on this is Grant winning the first ever House of Steel deadlift competition.
Oh yes,
Oh,
I
man.
did. I did. I didn't hit my goal of 600, but I did. I did win the competition. So I still use
Year
the.
two came
What?
back and almost hit 600.
I know. Yeah, I know. So both last 2 years, man. It's been frustrating. It's been like just right out of my grasp. This year, I mean, I think if things go according to plan, because I'm gonna hit like a bulk after this race in June, and I think by then I should be
Yeah.
able to hit it. But
You're gonna hit
yeah,
a
dude.
bulk when we do the mile challenge.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I'll still toast you guys. You know that. Come on. Maybe not
Let's
You're
see.
savage. You're
Yeah.
savage, dude. There's
Thank
no
you,
doubt
dude.
about it.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it, bro. Absolutely. So back at both of you guys. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, but so for context, like for those who don't know, the Elevate House of Steel Challenge is a deadlift competition. Everybody just goes and tries to hit a 1 rep max. They have this awesome Texas deadlift bar that we actually all gifted to J.R. Smith, who's the owner
Oh,
of
yeah.
the place. But another person we need to have on the podcast, by the way, Colin J.R. But
You,
yeah, the
I
deadlift
texted
bar. What's up?
I texted him like 2
Oh
months
yeah.
ago. He
Oh,
responded. He responded like 2 weeks later. And he said, "Let's
I'll
hop
hit him.
on."
I'll hit him as well. I'll hit him up. I know
He said, "Let's hop on now
he's
at
got a
like
different
9
timeline.
p.m."
He's got a different timeline. But, I'll hit him up again about it for sure. But yeah, Jr. He basically like we all go out to his gym in Ohio every year. We hit a deadlift competition. First year I won it. Second year I did not win, but I still use the belts. Actually, I got the belt right here. It's right next to me.
Let's
Oh,
go.
let's go.
Got it. Yeah, right. Live demo here. Couldn't have scripted that better.
Let's go.
I still deadlift in this. It's got a
Yes.
Elevate October Elevate Top Pull 2022.
Top pool.
Yeah,
afraid
we
here. I'm
called
gonna
it the top pull.
Yeah, I mean, they just got to win next year, then I can get a new one because this is starting to fray here.
Oh
There
man.
you go.
Oh,
The top pull, top G.
Top pool. You can tell JR wrote that.
yeah, definitely.
Oh,
top
Um,
pull.
cool. Oh goodness. Anyway, oh yeah, the next question we're going to talk about a little bit, which I think kind of ties in very well, is because obviously, like, you know, Colin and I are both fitness coaches, fitness guys. Tell us like a little bit. I know it's not as much of an emphasis now as it was in the beginning, as you guys have kind of transitioned more into the faith side. Like, just tell us a little bit more about how kind of like fitness plays a role in Elevate. I know we talked a little like the weekly challenges and things like that, but just yeah, kind of tell us from your perspective.
Yeah, I'll take this one as far as my perspective.
Yeah.
You know, it's just part of being a fully integrated man. You can have the faith, which is, in my opinion, most important, and I think we can all agree on that. But as far as just being complete, and being fully integrated, fitness is certainly part of that. We need guys that are healthy so they can lead their family, so they can, represent God with their bodies correctly. And then also just the challenges themselves when you go and you do an Elevate Fitness challenge similar to a 1 mile time or a dead hang challenge, you're pushing yourself to your limits, and you're growing in general through that. And some people, like for me personally, I every time I hit a big run, like I grow closer to God through that. So I would definitely say just becoming fully integrated, and just it's still part of your growth as a man. Fitness and health is.
Yeah. From my perspective, like you can have fitness without faith, but I don't think you can have faith without fitness. I think if you truly believe in God, then your actions are going to show that. They're going to be a proof of your belief. And I don't see how you can say you believe in God and not go honor him with your body and become the best version of yourself physically. So you can do these things like Paden is saying, glorify him just with how you look, glorify him with the energy you have, glorify him with how you lead your family, how you lead others closest to you, how you are just capable as a man to be able to do whatever you need to physically, whether that's protect people, whether that's serve people, whatever. So I think that growing yourself physically in terms of health is a proof of one's faith. And I think number two, with that, why fitness is such a big deal is, they say fitness is the gateway to self development. And I think it's because like it is the like easiest thing to see a goal and go get in fitness. Like the path to losing weight and looking better, everyone has that information. It's not like starting a business. Like starting a business is a lot less clear than losing weight and getting in shape. Like everyone knows if you go to the gym and eat right, like it's very laid out, it's very clear. Billions of people have done it. So the inputs you have to put in to get the outputs, and it's like a very linear thing. Like it's inevitable if you truly aren't lying to yourself and putting in the work. Um, and so I think it's just for guys coming into Elevate looking to build that identity, they can continue to leverage fitness wins to empower them to say, yeah, like I am the man that God placed me here to be. Look at what I'm doing. Like I am doing hard things with my body physically, like with you, Grant, about to go run 100 miles. Like, what is that going to do for your identity and your self confidence? Like, it's going to bleed into everything, dude. You're going to be like, yeah, I walk with God. Like, don't you see that? Like, it's just such a testament to your faith. And then I think the third thing that I would just layer onto that is the relationships that are cultivated from doing these physically hard things. Like yesterday, Paden putting up 20 miles. Like I see that. I'm motivated by him, but two, we're about to run a marathon together in 2 weeks. Like, man, we're getting in the trenches together. Like we see you, Grant, although we're online, you're crushing miles every single day. Like we're deadlifting big weights, or used to at least. But doing these challenges and doing these things physically and growing ourselves physically from that angle is just such a big piece of growing these relationships. Everybody knows what it's like to get into the trenches, with people and doing hard stuff.
For sure. Yeah, that's a really good answer to that question. I think like what I would say too is completely agree with you with like the comparison of like entrepreneurship or it's kind of any other pursuit versus fitness. It's like fitness very like linear, and I think like once you kind of get in the hang of it, it's kind of just something that goes on autopilot, and you can always like we can always like get to the gym, we can always eat the right foods, and like we all know very clearly, like all four of us know very clearly how to do that. But yeah, I mean like as far as like honoring God with the with some of these physical things, it's like I mean I thank God every day that I have the ability to go out and run, and like literally every morning I pray about it. It's like I thank God that I have the ability to go and run and do these great things with my body that like maybe there's people out there who aren't as fortunate, who aren't able to go and run 25 miles on a random weekend and like be fine the next day, right? So that's 100% see it as well.
Yeah, and I think like with that point, it's you're doing God and yourself a disservice if you don't. Like he gave you that body, he gave you the capability. Like he's given us this community of dudes to lean on. Like he's given us the intellect and the clarity or a vision to build a business. Like if he has given you something and you are neglecting it, like, man, what a disservice to God and yourself. Like, are you just going to dishonor him that way? It's like, that's something in my life I refuse to do. Like if he's going to give me these relationships, he's going to give me a platform to speak, he's going to give me a healthy body. It's like, man, I'm going to get every inch out of it to honor him.
I'm into that, man. I'm with that 100%.
So wrapping up, the last question here is this, you guys can both have an answer to this one. So out of the 150 plus members in the group chat or in the Discord, who has the greatest like success story? Like who went from, lukewarm to being one of the most empowering, one of the most faith-based persons in there?
It was like a really hard question. But yeah, go for it, guys.
I think I would choose Austin, man. If I had to choose somebody who's just grown the most, like Austin, and I'm not saying anything I wouldn't say to his face or he wouldn't say himself. When he first joined, man, he was insecure. He had a lot of FOMO just around just missing out on life. Like he just was so unsure of who he was as a man. And now, like, I lean on him for so much with Elevate and building these relationships. I mean, we put him on the front lines of just connecting with as many guys as possible because we know how he shows up in conversations and how he shows up in his identity in God. And I think if you'd have told him that when he first joined, he'd have been like, no way. I think he'd have been very fearful of that. So, dude, I mean, he was so insecure first joining, and now he just has such an identity in Christ and knowing who he is as a man. It's unbelievable. And just how hard he works. Like we've all seen that, struggling with a neurological disease such as Charcot-Marie-Tooth that literally they said he wasn't going to be able to squat or walk hardly. Like now he's competing in strength competitions, running half marathons, climbing mountains. Like unbelievable to see his growth and the work he's put in.
And by the way, for those of you listening, we actually have another episode that we did already with Austin. If you're interested in listening into that one, Colin, I don't know exactly when that one's going to get released, but
it's like a month. It's like a month and a half out, I think. After I scheduled
whatever website you're viewing this podcast on, I'm sure you can scroll back and find it. But yeah, Austin Espesith. Make sure you guys check that one out.
He took my answer. I mean, the
Man,
only thing I should have went with who?
I was gonna say I should have went with my second answer. That was you.
I thought that's what you were gonna say, honestly.
Where do you think I was going with that question, Matt?
I just knew you were pulling out something that was just gonna. I thought you were gonna say like who's your favorite member? Yeah. I thought you were gonna pin me in a corner or something.
I did too.
You're always up to something, bro.
No, I would have found a way to pin it to make sure I was the answer, but it's not in the script to do that, so I couldn't.
Who's the best CrossFitter?
Who's the most handsome, blonde hair, curly guy in the group chat?
It's currently on this podcast wearing an Elevate shirt.
What are you guys saying? Something about the apparel?
Only thing I have to add to saying Austin is just you look at who's put the most into Elevate. Particularly Austin, when you look at who sent the most messages, who's been on the most calls, who's been in the most events, it's been Austin, and his growth has reflected that. And it's really cool to see.
Yeah,
good question.
What was that, Peyton?
I was just saying, but great question.
Well, cool, guys. I think that's pretty much, Colin, that's pretty much all the questions I had. Do you have anything else to ask these guys?
No, just waiting for Peyton to announce what the big program was they talked about. Oh, in my head.
So I think we're getting
new merch coming. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Hey, no, I know that's not what it was because he said it was something in the Discord. So.
Oh.
No, man. Just don't want to get into legal matters,
You signed an NDA or something?
I did, man. Big things.
When's the CrossFit bit happening?
Whenever me and Matt start training, so we can beat you.
Oh yeah.
I'll I could give you guys 2 years, and I don't think you'd catch me.
2 months,
I'm
bro.
coming for you, bro.
Whatever you say,
It's
man.
inevitable, man.
It's- I'll, I'll give you my training structure, and you can follow it, and still ain't gonna
No,
get
no,
me.
no. I got a better one.
You got a better one.
Heck yeah.
Oh,
Hey, if I do have to say, if we didn't, all three of you guys would actually probably be first, second, third throughout it.
CrossFit comp, man.
Yeah,
I'm
one, two,
in.
1, 2, 3. If I go Paden Grant Matt, to be honest, but
Oh,
you think so?
Wow. 2025. Let's set it up.
I think we gotta do this. Yeah, I think that's the only way we'll find out.
I may retire before then.
Injury coming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
big injury.
man, that that elbow's really bothering you again, ain't it?
UCL. Yeah.
Yeah, you hurt your UCL, Paden?
I tore it in high school. Yeah,
Really?
when I was throwing the javelin. Yeah.
Oh, during javelin. Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah,
I've had my share of UCL issues, but never tore it, thankfully.
Javelin.
it's coming back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was supposed to I had several scholarships lined up. I was number one in the state in all I guess sanctions and tore it in practice.
How hard could you throw a baseball?
I quit baseball in ninth grade, so I'm not sure. Like
78.
80s,
A lot of carryover there.
there is for sure.
Yeah. That's crazy. Damn. I didn't realize that. That's awesome though. The
Yeah,
javelin.
it was a good time.
Cool. Well, anyway, guys, Matt, Peyton, it's been awesome having both of you on. Maybe I think it'd be fitting, like maybe one of you guys pray us out here at the end.
Heck yeah,
So,
I would love to.
Go for it.
All right. Dear Heavenly Father God, we thank you just for this time and this space that you've given us. I thank you for Colin and Grant for taking the leap and just starting the podcast. And now we have the space to get on here, talk about faith, talk about fitness, just ultimately growing as men and growing closer to you, God. So we thank you for this. We thank you for each of our journeys that have led us here to this very moment. And I thank you for anybody who is taking their time out of their day to listen to this podcast right now, God. Please bless them and please guide them closer to you, God. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
amen.
Well, thank you to the listeners. Thank you guys so much for listening. And we will talk to you guys next time.